If somebody had told me then what was going to happen, I don't think I would have believed it.
Like, I just get choked up a little because I can't believe that this happened.
This probably is the strangest story of all the stories in policing to me.
Charity is a good thing, but change is a better thing.
This was a phenomenal diagram paradigm shift.
Civil rights will never be the same again.
The idea that you write out a sign and you put it on top of your broomstick and you march out there with 2 or 3 people and you go home and you get a little coverage on TV and everything changes, those days are over.
There had to be a new way of attacking problems.
And so we thought we would start an organization that maybe had a different and expanded toolbox.
That was the idea. We're recovering civil rights lawyers, and we needed, we were kind of in a Chevy Malibu, and we needed a Hummer. So we got ourselves a Humvee. And that's the Advancement Project. We're an action tank.
In the beginning, the first project that I remember was the fact that there was a shortage of schools in Los Angeles.
If education is the civil right of the 21st century, we had to build schools.
We just sort of walked around talking to people at the district. And one day we walked into the office of Gordon Wohlers, and he had all these maps, these giant maps on his wall. I said, Gordon, what are all those maps? And he said, well, that's our busing.
We had over 16,000 kids that had to be bused out of their community because there wasn't enough capacity in their communities.
So you had little tiny 6- and 7-year-olds being bused out for first grade. They'd have to wait in the dark at 4 o'clock in the morning.
We bused the kids an hour, hour and a half away to a community that didn't want them, that they didn't want to be at.
Why is it that this heavily poor, heavily Latino and African American student body is being treated like so much packing material and just kind of shoved here and there? And
why isn't this working? Why can't the district build schools?
Well, in Los Angeles, we don't have vacant lots waiting for schools to be built on them, so Los Angeles could never compete because we didn't have the open space.
The district hadn't built schools in 30 years. They kept meeting. When Molly and I went to ask them, what are you doing? You have 100,000 kids sitting on the floor. What's the solution?
The very first piece had to be getting access to the funds.
so that led to the research and the effort that we put into the Godinez case.
Roxana Godinez, a youth activist with the Community Coalition, became the lead plaintiff.
One of the things that was happening to her was that she was literally just couldn't move in the halls. She couldn't push her way through.
Once that bell rings, everyone's rushing out, and it's literally like the 405 in the hallways.
Fremont High School was built to house 900 students. At the time, Roxana was a student there, as they had almost 5,000 students in attendance.
I mean, I went elementary through high school, public schools in South LA. So to me, you know, all schools were this way.
One of the things that we learned doing the work on the school construction is that often people just can't see the problem. They literally cannot visualize the problem.
There's so much coming at you that sometimes you're not putting things in perspective. You know, you're lost in the weeds with all the information and data.
So people have the data, but it's not actionable. It doesn't leap out at them and grab them.
So we're always looking for ways to deliver information to them in a way that they quickly understand the kind of problem we're trying to solve.
Some of the things that we're missing is we didn't have the Healthy City integrated data platform. I mean, that is an incredible mapping tool.
It's really a powerful tool for mobilizing folks and for letting them understand data in new and compelling kinds of ways.
What we found with GIS mapping is that it can take pages and pages of numbers and information and turn it into a single picture.
And they had one which was particularly interesting, which was a map of the entire state. Pinpointed the areas where there was a lot of student density and no classroom space for them.
This is the first time we actually used GIS mapping to show how the distribution of these dollars were going to the wrong place.
You look at these charts and you come to the conclusion, okay, now you know where the money is going.
So when Steve and Molly and MALDEF, our colleagues at MALDEF, Hector Villaga and Tom Sines, when when our great lawyers won that case, guess what? They brought back $1 billion, $750 million of which jump-started the school construction program.
We then needed to be sure that bonds after 1A, the bonds for the future, were also constructed in a way which provided money for all the kids. And so that's the work that Steve has done in Sacramento, is that second phase of the work.
That's what's significant about this, that it wasn't just $1 billion that Godinez won. It was setting the laws in motion, the rules in motion for a change that is so gigantic.
And that's the best kind of work as an activist, is when your impact can have a ripple effect.
And bond after bond after bond to build schools has passed.
This bond represents the greatest commitment to school facilities in the history of our nation.
This is the largest bond measure in the history of the country.
This is an equitable bond measure. It is so much better than anything we have ever done before.
And the advancement project has been along there every step of the way to make sure that the district could build these schools.
We're annoying, I know. I understand that. But guess what? The schools are getting built. On time, on budget.
If you think of 131 new schools, this isn't replacing 130 schools that were there. This is new sites.
This problem was so big we had to bring in the American military to get these schools built.
These kids in urban areas will forever now have an opportunity to study in state-of-the-art buildings where they feel like they're being treated with the type of dignity that every kid deserves.
You know, like I can't wait to call my dad after this and just say, hey Dad, so you know that lawsuit that you signed the waiver on and you said it's okay if my daughter says this? Like, we built 80 schools, and there's still more in construction, and it's amazing.
If you make a community work for children, it often works for everybody.
Children birthed to grade 12 deserve a great education, but they also have to get support at home, and they also have to be safe going from home to school.
When you go into the gang hot zones and children can't walk to school without dodging bullets, 66% of the kids in the gang zones had post-traumatic stress.
Los Angeles is known for inventing gangs.
We have exported this problem throughout the world. Now, if you think that where you live is more immune than Switzerland to this problem, then you're crazy.
I will never forget going to the bedside of one kid who'd been shot for the third time. And I said, are you trying? Are you trying to get killed? What's wrong with you? And he said, yeah, I am. I want to die. And, I want to kill anybody who reminds me of myself. And the self-loathing was just it just hit me. It just hit me like someone had punched me.
The hopelessness is so strangling that they feel like gang membership is a reasonable alternative.
And no one, not the housing authority, not me as a civil rights lawyer, the cops weren't there, the teachers weren't there. Where were we?
In my career, I have stood over hundreds, maybe thousands, of dead 18 to 25-year-olds. And I'm not a soldier. I'm not in a war zone.
So why don't we all come together and figure out a new framework, bring new eyes to this, put a new lens on it. And we took the public health lens. The epidemiologist said, you're not understanding this problem. And they said, look at violence as a disease. Cure the disease. You don't lock up a disease.
Traditionally, as a law enforcement officer, we would arrest. If there was more crime in an area, we'd arrest more people.
So to end an epidemic, you don't hand out fly swatters. You drain the swamp.
Otherwise you can kill mosquitoes for the rest of your life.
And that means all of the institutions, the civic sector, the faith-based sector, the governmental sector, the school sector, we all have to get together. And once you've got the right diagnosis, you just do it stage by stage.
I would say that the Advancement Project report on gang violence was stunning in its breadth and depth. It was a call to action, that report.
Many times in government or in any entity, you protect what you've been doing.
Los Angeles is a pretty disjointed place, and credibility and trust are in very short supply.
So what we had to do was we had to create a new table a fresh table where everybody could leave their baggage and their need to defend their past practices behind.
I think they had just about every key significant player at the table.
We have people here from every segment of society.
I just am so thrilled to see the mixture of leadership in the room here.
I'm here to throw my full support for the advancement project.
Her recommendations for the idea of a comprehensive approach I can support wholeheartedly.
And this is the opportunity to really pull together the comprehensive program that we must have in this city if we're going to really solve the problem.
To help make the argument that the gang problem is not a problem that can only be dealt with the suppression model, but also with the prevention model, Healthy City has been able to provide the right kind of data to show what are prevention resources that currently exist and how can the city tie some of these resources together to make sure there is this preventative safety net for kids in those neighborhoods.
The Healthy Cities work has just been marvelous work for us. It's a game changer in the field.
When we go to these community meetings, when I go to community meetings, I stand with my partners now. My partners being gang interventionists, case managers, the mayor's office, the city council, the county, mental health department, child and family service, now even the sheriff's department.
There has been a shift in the whole way that the city conceptualizes the problem of gang violence and what we need to do to address it.
As a result of that, the mayor has demanded and ordered that 12 gang reduction zones be created. And he's not going to the places where it's easy. He's going to the places where it's 4 times the murder rate of the city.
The study indicated that this was one of the areas that was the most violent in the Newton area.
2.5 years ago, my sister-in-law, Laura Sanchez, was murdered. 9 years prior to her being murdered, her mother was murdered. So both of them died in drive-by shootings.
Not long ago, this was actually an area that was held hostage to a lot of gang violence.
They've been raped here, gang violence and drugs.
There's been shootings in this park. There's been people that gotten killed in this park.
That nobody would step in here unless they claim this territory.
If it would start getting late at 5 o'clock, we would say, okay, you know what, guys, it's time for us to go home.
So that's why this Summer Night Lights project was purposely put in this area.
So this is a Ross Snyder Recreation Center, one out of 16 parks that have this program.
What it does is open the park from Wednesdays to Saturdays from 7 to midnight.
This whole effort from the advancement project to the city developing the whole grid concept really is a collaborative effort.
Everything from law enforcement to the community development to the actual gang members coming involved through the intervention.
We're going to the playground. Show me doing the bunny hop. Kids are having fun, even though it's 10 o'clock at night.
Typically, you would not see this without this program. We have food every night.
We usually feed around 600 people.
And it's drawing folk from all over the neighborhood.
Some of the people just come for the free food, but it's okay. I used to do that too, but then they put me to work, so. This is where they play basketball. They have karate lessons.
Park, why do you come here?
Oh, for the graffiti program.
We have a dance class, art class, and video games here at the park.
This is a skate park. It's awesome.
The largest activity we have here is soccer. We have tennis right there as well. Kids are having fun playing ping pong. On Fridays and Saturdays, they play a movie back there.
There's a granddad from Mexico that's teaching boxing.
Here, he used to be a professional fighter in Mexico.
Showing him how to use his energy to keep his body up, so they're able to get that warrior energy out rather than fighting each other. What this is doing, and the whole park was marked up as soon as we started Summer Night Lights. It hasn't happened since.
It's becoming a family park.
I feel a lot safer because there's like a lot of people everywhere.
I used to be involved with an opposing gang to the gang that's here. I would have never thought in a million years that I would be able to walk through this park.
Don't have to watch your back or say, oh my God, something's gonna happen.
Just for me, this is the first time, one of the few times this summer that I've ever been able to walk through here, and I'm 45 years old.
In the Newton area, there's like 100% change.
To me, it does look like it's working.
I never imagined the park would be like this.
It's making a difference in these kids' lives.
If we didn't have Summer Night Lights, like most of these people wouldn't be here.
As a peace officer, what I personally gained from this collaboration with the Advancement Project, the training from the Advancement Project, is I do my work better. Now the community is very accessible to me, so we're talking.
But that you and Captain Green came out to be with Mom and Dad in their mourning, that got out. I mean, it got word on the street because 2 captains coming to a victim's house to listen to their pain is a huge piece. I'm grateful to you, as you know.
When these programs take place in our neighborhood, we have peace.
We needed something like this in order for change to come our way.
It gives me and the group of people that were working a lot of energy.
Without that report, we'd still be running around bumping our heads into walls doing things in the same way. I'm convinced of it.
Things are lined up right now for us to make a big change in LA.
Through the Advancement Project, we've been able to give some hope to people, young people who never had hope before.
They're really affecting change, like sort of from the bottom up and from the top down.
When you make an investment in the Advancement Project, we're going to get a very good return on our investment.
One best part about all this has to be just the impact it's going to have on individual students.
And the thing about this is that those kids don't even know who the Advancement Project is.
We couldn't do any of this work alone.
We could not do this work without our team inside, and we could not do it without our allies.
A lot of people watching this right now, you guys should be here at the park. It's awesomeness.
All right. The thing I like the most about the Advancement Project, and I think this is critical, they wouldn't be as successful if they didn't have this, but the best thing about it is Steve's suspenders. Those, I mean, you gotta tell, I mean, come on.
Have you done Steve?
No.
Cool.
Yeah. You know Molly had to force me to do this, Justine knows.
The one thing I like the most about the Advancement Project is when I see, I would say Molly's cooking is the best thing about the Advancement Project. The best.
You know, if I had to boil AP down to one word, first of all, it would be difficult because there's anybody that knows AP knows that they are not short of words. So,
more empirically, sort of what the dynamics are and trends are that we need to address, and so yeah. What was the original question?
The Advancement Project's mapping problem is mapping problem.
Well, I believe that the Advancement Project.
Use that. I know. We put. The thing I really admire the most is Connie Rice's jokes. They're the best.
Now, after Connie sees that, she's going to be asking me for more money now.
You know, I know it's annoying.
Should I use my hands at all?
Why is it that they're hiding John from the rest of us?
He's showing us this map and that map and this and what, and it'll do that and it'll do this, and you can look at this compared to that.
You map it and forget it. You know?
He's the one that does all the work, and they get all the credit for it. That's what's going on here. That's why I don't know John. Otherwise, I probably know him.
I thought that was money right there. I thought that was pretty good.